Every Monday in the 4 o'clock hour, we get the friends together. We recap the weekend that was in sports, talk a little pop culture, whatever comes up. Brian, Shawn, welcome back.
Good to see you, man.
Good
How
to
we
see
doing?
You as well. Good. I was over in your neck of the woods yesterday. I finally got my first sunburn of the summer.
Congratulations.
At the end of August, yeah,
it was a beautiful weekend.
It was fantastic.
Gorgeous
yesterday.
weekend.
Derek Hanson back from what was probably felt like heaven for him last week, covering the Vikings joint practice with the Baltimore Ravens and catching some Twins games, of which they were winning when you were down there.
Yeah, I guess they should have flew me to San Diego. I don't know, but it's funny. Derek Shelton said we just got to be more consistent. I said, no, you've been pretty consistent. You lose 3, you win 3, you lose 3. I mean, that's pretty consistent. That's not the type of consistency that they're looking for.
Fair.
You know, the up and down of it has been very consistent, and that's kind of it summarizes the 2026 season. But we'll see if they can go back to that 3-game winning streak now against the A's this week.
This Jekyll and Hyde team that is your Minnesota Twins. This week, though, kickoff week, we got UND kicking off on Thursday, NDSU on Saturday. All is right in the world. Football is officially back.
It is. It's still. I'm still not feeling
Mentally
it
there?
yet, but I'm sure I will once we get to that point. But it's just, to me, once we late August, it's still this week 0 thing now has become normal.
I don't think football should start till Labor Day weekend at the amateur level, or quote unquote amateur college
amateur
now.
level.
Yeah, but,
No
but you
such
know what I
thing.
mean. The non-NFL. I like the NFL starting after Labor Day. I really do, and then I can go into March for the Super Bowl for all I care. But I like the fact that we're kind of getting it. Yeah, I think a lot of football fans would much rather have it start Labor Day weekend, not me. But I like high school and college football start Labor Day weekend. That's fine. That's early enough for me.
Well, and then these NFL guys, they can get pay raises for going from the NFL back to college. So good for them.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a moment.
It's just
you know what? You want to go back to school? Fine.
Go back to the minors.
Yeah, go have at it.
Can you cut me, Coach, so I can go back to college and make more money?
Yeah. We talked about the Wild West that is the NCAA. This is just a whole other spur in the old giddy up here. A hitch in the wagon. I have no idea. I'm trying to throw up puns. It's not quite working.
Well, I mean, it's game week.
Don't you do it. I saw you look at that monitor over there.
But, I mean, it's game week, and we have college programs still adding guys. I mean, it almost feels like that just can't happen, but that's where we're at. You're going to see it.
Kicker in the transfer portal, like this past week. So who knew?
Somebody's asking, Brian, I'm going to throw this your way because I want you to talk about something that you're going to be involved in. Somebody's wondering what the best way to watch the Bison on TV is going to be this year if you can't make the game. Is it the Mountain West app? Is it the CW app? Is it CBS Sports? Is it ESPN?
Yes.
Or should I just go to the bar, this person said.
I would just go to the bar because you're going to need all those channels to watch at one point or another. Now, if you have ESPN Unlimited, ESPN Plus, whatever it is, the CW their games are going to be carried there. So if you have that's a deal that's done. So. But it is available over the air pretty much anywhere the CW is. No matter where you are, it's an over the air channel.
Yeah, that's like CBS, a point. If you get an antenna, it's like a point.
Yeah, 0.3 or whatever it is. And now the CBS Sports and the FS1 and all that stuff, that's where it gets to be a little bit more hairy. And then there's 2 games that will be on
Channel 6, right? Yeah.
Channel 6 or the app if you're not local. If you're not from here, then you have to purchase the app if you want to see those 2 games. I think it's Fordham and... What's the other one? UTEP, I think. UTEP is the other one.
That feels right.
Those
Aaron Jones, old school. Huh? Yeah.
So it is unique for sure.
It's going to be. This was Derek. You've been saying this from the get go, and people are saying we need to make the move. FBS, we're ready for it. The change of the fan experience from guess what? It's not always going to be a 2:30 kickoff. You're not going to be able to get up to the parking lot at the Dome at like 8 a.m. and tailgate till 2 o'clock. Go on in and watch. It's going to be staggered.
You get your hunting in early and go catch a little Bison football at night. That's pretty much what it comes down to. So if you're, and that it's an adjustment. I think it's going to be interesting to see how the fan base handles it. If they love it, and if they, I do not want to hear any complaints. We will, but I don't want to hear them. Yeah, you're funny. Yeah, that's
I try to be. Sometimes intentionally. That time, not so much. I know there's going to be we're going to be hearing all sorts of complaints of what time's this game? What app do I have to watch it on? because it's not the scheduled same channel, same time as it has been for years.
Yeah, I mean the only outfit that's getting away with this is the NFL because it's such an 800-pound gorilla. It's a mistake that baseball's making. We heard the numbers from the Field of Dreams Netflix game was really down. I just think that people are tired of going bouncing back and forth, and I think Major League Baseball has to take heed of that. As they have they have 2,400 games, so 2,430 games every season. I'd make that as easy to find as you can because you're not dealing with the 300 some that the NFL has. I mean, it's a much more exclusive thing. It's easier to find if you're just thinking about a random Thursday or a Sunday or a Christmas Day or whatever. You're dealing with too many games. That's the one thing with college football, too. It's the same. It's different in the NFL because there are so many games.
Yeah.
There's so many, hundreds of schools at all the levels, right? Each level. So that's why they have to be more careful about this.
Well, and I will say this, though, for the fan experience, all the games, at least at home, are at pretty reasonable times, right? Like 4:30 to start, then it's 2:30. For the most, they're all mid-afternoon, somewhere around there, for the home games. It's the road games where I think Air Force is 9, Sacramento State is 9:30. I think Hawaii is 10.
Yeah.
So those are the games that are going to be different. But again, if you're looking strictly at the fan experience, it's not like you have any 9 o'clock starts at home this season, which is helpful. I mean, you're not getting out of the dome at 1 a.m. Yeah. That might happen, but again, I think they're trying to find the right TV windows for the right place, and at least they did this year for NDSU, so that worked out good.
Now, speaking of TV and being able to get some of this experience, there's also a pregame experience that I want you to explain to us, Brian.
A pregame experience?
Yeah, we'll be experiencing.
Oh, yeah, for the games on the CW, you mean?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, there's Beth and I and a few of us are getting back together, the band back together for a handful of pregame shows for the games on the CW. It's an hour-long show. It'll be from the studio. They're not going to be on the CW itself because there's games before and after that. But essentially, there's the MeTV, the KX. They're using the other signals that Valley News has to put on a pregame show. So,
welcome you back.
Well, I mean, again, for me, it's an opportunity to get back and work with a couple of friends that I'm really close with, and it's not super serious.
I know, but
I'm not calling games or anything like that.
We get to reap the benefits of it.
Well, it'll be fun to get involved again with some of that stuff. I haven't done a lot of college football stuff the last 3 years. I really haven't done any. So this is a chance to at least do something related to this. And again, it's going to be a totally new experience for me. I haven't done a ton of pregame show stuff. I've used to call games, but again, it was an opportunity. I'm like, it'll be fun. It's not every week, which was the big thing. I don't want to do something that's every week, and this isn't that. So this is just a handful of things to do for fun.
You're too humble. I tell you what, I'm going to be watching and then grading on Mondays.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, so no pressure. Knowing that you're going to have one very skeptical viewer taking notes of your delivery.
You won't be the only skeptical viewer.
35270 is the Adventure RV text club. You can join the conversation. We got to talk about the fact that, Vikings played on Saturday. It was boring. Let's just all admit that. But we'll come back, break it down when we return here on Afternoons Live. The Minnesota Vikings held joint practices with the Baltimore Ravens last week and then played a game on Saturday. I imagine more was observed during the practices of which Derek Hanson was at than what was really shown on the field on Saturday.
Yeah, that would be an understatement. There's not a lot going on there. Not many starters going in action on Saturday whatsoever. What I saw last week was a defense that looks like it just wants Dallas Turner. Now, granted, Lamar Jackson can maybe escape some of his sacks, but he was in number 8's face all day long. And he knows that he has to step up and be that guy with Jonathan Gennard getting traded to the Eagles, who, by the way, hasn't practiced at all with a pec injury. So that trade's looking a little bit better by Rob Brzezinski when he was the interim GM as we go along here. Jalen Redmond looks like he's ready to go. And then we'll just see where some of these, the two defensive linemen that they drafted in the first 3 rounds, Caleb Banks and Dominic Orange, both look pretty good. I mean, Caleb Banks is out there. A lot of questions about his foot, but he's been out there. Dominic Orange looks like he's ready to go right now. So that's good to see. Blake Cashman's really playing well. So the front 7 of the D is really, really good. That's the one thing that really stood out for me. And then, it's been up and down quarterback play. They want to run the ball more. The offensive line certainly said that to me. Donovan Jackson made no bones about it when I interviewed him. They want to run the ball, be more efficient with that. So it's going to be an intriguing season starting with week 1 against the Packers.
Maybe it's because I can be naive from time to time, but it seemed that when Kyler Murray gets named the starter, that maybe the heat from the fan base in particular towards J.J. McCarthy would maybe settle down, right? He's going to be your backup quarterback, and then goes out and has a performance that he did on Saturday, which I think he had a 50% completion, percentage for like 80 yards, whatever it is. Had a couple opportunities to throw a touchdown, and people are dogging on him, saying this experiment should be over already.
I don't know if it's going to be over already.
Well, I don't think it is either, but that's what I'm seeing.
And I don't think you can do that considering how little he's played. And again, there's a lot of maturation that has to happen on the field, off the field, I think, there. But I think the one overarching theme you hear is the guy throws the ball 150 miles an hour no matter where he throws it. And I just, at some point, don't you have to sit down and say, okay, there's a time you need to do that, and there's a time you don't. Like when you're trying to find Miles Price wide open in the corner of the end zone, you don't need to throw it the hardest you can and make it the toughest catch. Just loft it out there. Yes, like that's an easy touchdown. And I think that's the one thing where it's just like when you get through the film room, it's just he has to see that at some point. You have to have a feel for what's going on in the field where I just see him load up and just gun it.
Yeah.
8 yards. It's like, and then I hear, and I love PA, like does a great job, right? But he say, I went right through Miles Price's hands. I'm like, yeah, I did, because it was 150 miles an hour, and he had to reach like 6 yards in the air for it.
And he's fully extended, and
so
he's leaving.
It wasn't exactly an easy catch.
And I don't think enough conversation has been placed on that third down directly before that.
Right.
Because if you put a touch on a corner pass, you don't even have to go on third down because you score a touchdown, or on fourth down because you score a touchdown on third down. And again, he rifled it.
Yep.
And he threw it a little high because he had to get it over a defender. And when you throw it 1,000,000 miles an hour and try to get it over the top of somebody, it just keeps going up.
Yeah, so
I just wonder, though, looking back on it, because he reminds me of two guys when they were very young. One was Sam Darnold, who had a really hot arm like that and did the same thing with the Jets. You did that with the Panthers, right?
After he was done seeing ghosts.
And we all know about Sam Darnold. I mean, J.J. McCarthy's 23 years old, and it also reminds me a little bit of Favre when he's younger. I don't know in 2026 if the fan base would be as patient with Favre as they were those first 3 years before he contended for a Super Bowl in that close NFC Championship game up until like the third quarter against the Cowboys. And, of course, the Cowboys fell against the Panthers. They go on, and the Packers win the Super Bowl in 1996. But the point I'm getting at is that this is not uncommon. He's 23 years old, and the people say that the only way they're going to get rid of him is if his camp says, we got to get out of here. Otherwise, they're going to keep him around because they have control of him the next 2 years.
But I do think the difference in that equation, because you're right, he's got a lot of those attributes. Neither of those teams had a 28-year-old Justin Jefferson. Right, like
well,
so you can only
Sharp. I totally disagree with
you can only sit around so long before he starts getting a little antsy with what's going on too.
Well, but Sterling Sharp was there, and they had weapons back in Mikowski was getting that thing in the right direction, and just Favre took it over, and they let him learn on the fly with some bad interceptions and what have you. I mean, this is where you're at right now.
Yeah, to your point, Derek, it really doesn't – he has no value. So, I mean, you essentially at this point, you would just be releasing him, and it really doesn't make sense to do – you're right. Based on his current contract, it makes no sense to do that. Absolutely no sense to do that.
You might as well have him on the roster because you're going to need all three of them. I think the next thing to watch is, you kind of heard this right away in the press conference after the game on Saturday, is – okay, JJ got dinged up a little bit. Oh, really? How convenient is that? He's going to be dinged up going into week one. I think Carson Wentz is going to be QB2, for that reason. And he should be, actually.
Yeah, I think he should be QB2 regardless.
Yeah, right. No, 100%. I mean, there's no doubt.
Yeah, and again, I think I know O'Connell and the front office, they got to play this game of, okay, he's our backup and we still believe, and you got to do all that stuff publicly, but Kyler Murray gets hurt week 3. We talked about this last week. What are you really going to do? You're not going to put J.J. McCarthy in the game if the other guy you think has a chance to win you the game better. And right now, based on what we're seeing, Carson Wentz is easily QB2 based on performance alone.
No question. And how he handles the huddle, how everything operates, no matter if it's the second team in there or the third team lineman, it just seems to go for the flow for sure. if you want him going in the second quarter, or a kid who's overamped right now at 23 years old. I mean, there's just
the
no
maturity
getting around
level
it.
is.
It's a huge. It's such a difference. And as I said, I'm like a broken record on this. You might need all three of them during the season because all three of them haven't been able to figure out how to stay healthy.
Let's talk about another local quarterback that is catching some attention. Jack Strand playing
some attention.
Just a tiny little bit.
I think it's
in Atlanta.
I think he's like maybe the story of the entire preseason in the entire NFL based on what he's doing. And I think one thing that Jack I don't think was really known for, and I think he would say it wasn't really known as a runner.
No,
but yet he's shown the ability to do that now in the NFL. His run to the end zone was pretty impressive on Saturday, and the way he's winging it down the field, his accuracy, I think how much joy everybody has being around him and what he's brought. I really believe they're gonna find a place for him. And if you're the Falcons, do you dare cut him and put him on the practice squad? Someone will go get him.
Stefanski had already said that he's going to start taking reps with the 2s and 3s.
Has to.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. And you think about that, we just got done talking about J.J. McCarthy. Here's a kid who won a national championship at the FBS level and then was a top 10 pick, and he's having a tough time adjusting. And here's a kid from MSUM Moorhead going in there looking like he has the part right away in week one. The JJ's defense, he looked that good in week one against the Raiders before he got hurt.
The pressures are
and ever since he got hurt against the Raiders his rookie year, he hasn't really been the same. And so it's just you don't know. I mean, you don't know if someone's going to turn out to be the next great one and go through the lumps and wait to win a Super Bowl like Sam Darnold, or are they going to be Christian Ponder? It's crazy. You can be a first round pick and fall in your face like a Blaine Gabbert or Christian Ponder, or you can be a free agent pickup who comes out of nowhere. Or Brock Purdy, the last pick in the draft. Mm-hmm. There's just no rhyme or reason for it anymore.
But Strand's poise, I think, and the game does not look fast for him. His poise in the pocket he looks very comfortable. So, I mean, he has made the adjustment very, very quickly. And again, he's played a lot of football too. And I know it's a totally different world from the NSIC and some of the stuff he said, but he's thrown a ton of passes throughout his life. And I think the way he has shown the ability to do that and carry that and make all the NFL throws, I think has really opened a lot of eyes, in addition to what he brings, I think, to the huddle in the franchise.
In studio is Brian, Shawn, Derek Hanson. Eric Johnson is producing. I'm Tyler Axness, your host. You can join the conversation at the Adventure RV Text Club. That's at 35270. There is some racing going on in the nation's capital. We'll talk about that, Twins, and, of course, some obscure things that happen on this date. When we come back on Afternoons Live.
Yeah, this was played a few times on the radio back in the day.
On Top 40 station down the hall, I'm sure I had this blasting on repeat. Also had What a Girl Wants on.
Oh, yes. My friend who is coming home because her son plays for Jacksonville State, one of my high school friends. They lived in North Miami Beach, and she had a friend, Belinda, who used to work doing commercials and stuff. To one of the hardest people to ever deal with in her life, Christina Aguilera.
Were you at the show after the Jay Leno appearance?
Yeah, North Dakota State Fair. Christina Aguilera was on Jay Leno's show and made it seem like, I've got to go to North Dakota. And place was packed. People were not thrilled.
Showed up to boo her.
Yeah, pretty much showed up to boo Christina Aguilera on stage. Some idiot threw a water bottle on stage.
Oh, really?
Was quickly
I didn't hear
out.
that. Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
The jabroni that did that was not far from where we were standing.
Wow.
Swiftly escorted out of the grandstand area in North Dakota, the Magic City of Minot. But it all started on this date that is 1999. August 24th already, by the way, boys and girls. We'll go back a little bit further. In 1963, Stevie Wonder became the first artist ever to score a U.S. #1 album and single in the same week.
Wow.
Yeah. Number one on the album chart with little Stevie Wonder, the 12-year-old genius, and had the #1 single, Fingertips Part 2. That was also the first ever live recording to make #1.
Ever tell you that I saw him at the LAX airport when I was there in 2005?
Yes.
Okay. He didn't see me, though.
That's how they're doing. The punchline was coming. That's why I looked at you, Brian. I'm like, don't open this up for him.
I looked at you right away, and I go, I know where this is
going. It's my late friend Nick Manson's joke, sorry, because he was there with me, and so I heard that joke many times at the ground round, many times. So
that's fun.
Yeah.
Lived up real well.
Mm-hmm.
In 1977, country legend Waylon Jennings was arrested for cocaine possession in New York City by federal agents. An event which inspired his song, Don't You Think This Outlaw Bit's Done Got Out of Hand? That was weird to say. Don't you think this outlaw bit's done got out of hand?
Yeah.
Charges were later dropped.
Couldn't decide which way I wanted to go.
Either way is good, actually.
Boy, Waylon's had to be gone now for a long time. What, 25 years? Something like that.
I
It
don't
has to
know.
be.
Let me
Early
guess.
2000s.
Have any of you three gents seen the show Tales from the Tour Bus? So it's Mike Judge, who did Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill. And he takes real stories of touring musicians, and he animated them and then had the narration from people who were there. And
Wow.
I've never heard of
and
that.
one season is all 70s country. So it's Johnny Paycheck, it's Waylon Jennings. It's they were insane. The amount of drugs that they used. Johnny Paycheck shot his bus driver at one point in time, demanded to go to a McDonald's at 2 a.m. when there wasn't one.
What?
Yeah. Just mountains of cocaine. It made Tony Montana seem benign,
Wow.
the amount of cocaine they ingested.
Say hello to my little friend
Yeah.
type of thing. Yeah.
I think it was. I don't want to disparage one of them, but one of them, Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, one of them, tied his buddy to a tree in his yard and
My
just
Lord.
left him there.
That's terrible stuff.
Yep, they're insane.
What was the name of that show?
Tales from the Tour Bus.
Okay, I'm gonna have to
Season
write that
1's all
down.
country. Season 2 was funk musicians.
Oh, are there only 2 seasons?
I think so.
That's unfortunate because I'm thinking about some of the hair metal bands that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Just
The
go
Dirt.
watch your VH1 behind the
Yes,
music.
that's
so.
right. It's all the same
Yeah.
setup.
Read The Dirt.
Wow. In 1981, the Rolling Stones released Tattoo You. This is an inside bit again. The big hit from the album was Start Me Up, which I didn't know was originally recorded with a reggae rhythm in 1977. The version was scrapped. They put the rocked up version on Tattoo You with better results.
Yes.
And if you're in this building, you feel like it's 8:35 on a weekday.
That's a good point. And yeah, it's weird. There is a few songs that have been re-released in a different way by bands, and it's been more successful the second time. And I got it. It'd be a good thing to kind of look into.
Remastered or
Yeah.
just changed a little bit. Yeah,
I'm
Just
curious.
tweaked it.
I'm sure you can find the reggae rhythm for Start Me Up, but I've never heard of it, nor have I listened to it.
It is also interesting when you'll have a band do the same song but on 2 different albums. They get really popular and they're like, well, this one was a good one. We should put this on the popular album so that people hear it.
So the biggest of that I remember is AC/DC Fly on the Wall didn't do great, but then they just re-released a bunch of them on the Maximum Overdrive soundtrack and was a part of it.
Yeah. And
So
then
like
it got
Sink the
traction.
Pink and Shake Your Foundations, all that stuff was on that. And Who Made Who kind of made, now that has much better flow to it than Fly on the Wall. It's kind of crazy how that worked.
And watch machines try killing people.
Yes,
to the
exactly.
music. Maximum Overdrive was a weird movie, ladies and gentlemen.
Based on a true story. Yeah. Not really.
Loosely.
Not until AI takes over, then it might be. But.
Then all of a sudden the signs were all there. The warnings were everywhere in the 80s.
Plug
We
me into
just
the Matrix. It'll be fun.
Didn't listen. In 1985, speaking of the 80s, Huey Lewis and the News started to tweak, running at number 1 on the U.S. singles charts with Power of Love.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, featured in the hit movie Back to the Future. Throughout the Back to the Future films, the song is played at 5 various points.
That's all?
Yeah. I was surprised by it. It's only played 5 different times, and is sometimes used as a plot device.
Also a great cameo by Huey Lewis in Back to the Future.
The original.
It's true.
Yeah.
You're
And of
just
course-
too dang loud.
And then he also did Back in Time was for one of the sequels too, wasn't it? So
Yes.
Yep.
I think I've always wondered this, why Huey Lewis maybe hit some classic hits thing, but if John Mellencamp and Bryan Adams can be on classic rock, why isn't he's kind of a rocking guy, right?
Yeah, well, I wonder
He's
what
pop
what
rock,
format did he get played on in the 80s?
I don't
It
know.
was a top 40
Was
for
it all
sure.
top
Yeah,
40 all the time?
probably.
But so was
Yeah.
Mellencamp. Jack and Diane was a top 40 hit. So
That's a fair question.
because it's all
Give Huey Lewis and the News their crown.
Yes,
Put them on.
I
the old
like
hits.
them. They're fun.
Yeah. You can't be angry when you're listening to Huey Lewis in the news.
No.
Unless you're Patrick Bates. That's an American Psycho joke that nobody got.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember it now, but yeah, it's just that movie is so disturbing that
you try not to remember it.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I got one more for you. I'd be enraged if I was at this event. In 1996, Oasis singer Liam Gallagher failed to turn up for the recording of the band's MTV Unplugged session. It was at London's Royal Festival Hall.
Shocking.
400 fans sat in anticipation for the performance. Liam later did show up, sat in the audience and watched the show as his brother Noel Gallagher took over on vocals.
It's those two. That's an interesting. They're an interesting case. Two brothers. Can brothers both be narcissists? Is that kind of how it goes?
Yes. As long as your last name is Gallagher, then yes.
What a couple of clowns!
And also, honestly, the amount of wasted potential that they had to, because
No
they
doubt.
were one of the biggest bands on the planet at their peak.
They're bigger than the Beatles. Just ask them.
I imagine being Noel and being like, where the hell is he? And then partway through the set, he shows up and he sits in the crowd. Like you don't.
Which he did almost entirely to antagonize his brother.
Man.
Yeah, it's.
They didn't come to fisticuffs at that point, but in 1996, I would have been outraged at this very thing.
They did get in a fist fight on stage one time, didn't they?
I think they did, yeah. I just wasn't at the MTV Unplugged recording session.
What are they, Jane's Addiction? What do we got going on here?
Lots of anger issues in that family. Those are the obscure things that happen on this date. When we come back, we'll close out Afternoons Live right after this.
A dream, she never dies. Wipe that tear away now from your eye. Slowly walking down the hall, faster than.
Minnesota Twins are back in action tonight. Well, get your nap in because the pregame's not till 8 o'clock. We're back on those late start times.
Yeah, it's like Bison football coming up with some of these road games. Yeah, they need to get going. Zebby's got to pitch well tonight. They need someone to stop. You know, Bailey Ober did a good job kind of getting in the right direction a week ago today. Didn't have as good of an outing yesterday, obviously, but Zebby, if he can get going. And I think the biggest thing from them right now is Joe Ryan. Is he healthy? And if he does get healthy, is he going to be the Joe Ryan before the All-Star break? Because they're not going to go very far in this chase for the wild card against all these teams ahead of them now if he's not able to go.
How many back are they from the wild card?
Two
Okay.
games. But
I
if
think
you
our
look at
governor
it,
said something wrong earlier.
but there's so many teams that were within two. I mean, Toronto's in a game and a half. Cleveland, Texas are essentially tied behind the two right now. Boston and New York that are kind of in that. They're all kind of in that same spot. So it's, you know, it's gettable, but there's a lot of competition, and that's where it's they're going to have to start playing better here in this final month.
They got to win this series, and then the big thing is then next week and this weekend into next week because you got the White Sox at home for 3. If the White Sox sweep them, it's pretty much, you know, the division's over, right? I mean, that's just going to be almost impossible. And then you're really trying to swim upstream, and even in the wild card if you get swept by your division rival. So,
well, the fact that it's the end of August and we still have a necessity to talk about the Twins is something at the beginning of this year we weren't going to be.
Nope. They've exceeded expectations for sure. There's no question. They have.
Derek Hanson's got the Drive Time News and Couch Potato Radio coming up before the Twins. What's coming up today?
Quick little Man on the Street Monday coming up tonight on Couch Potato Radio. Kevin Feeney is going to join me, do a little high school preview what's coming up, and I was intrigued to talk to him. Obviously, after talking to PJ Fleck, who was on the sidelines last Wednesday at Vikings training camp with the joint practices with the Ravens, and he's very excited about the kids that are coming here from Cass and Clay County, and one that he already has there because he's got one kidred Viking right now, and Riley Sunrum, who's going to start 3 technique, he told me, on the defensive line with Devin Easton going to the Seattle Seahawks after graduation, and of course Mr. Bacco heading there to play tight end. And then all the Spuds, a lot of Spuds heading there. So get us thoughts on that. And their season a week from Thursday at Rogers to kick things off. And they're going to be going from the Hunters to the Hunted now in 6A because everyone thought, how are they going to make this adjustment? Well, it went pretty well for them. They're the state runner-up and just a whisker away from winning it all. So it'll be interesting.
Brian, Shawn, anything you want to share with us? Did you watch the race yesterday?
You know, I watched a little bit of it just to see what it would look like in D.C., and then you see some of those landmarks. I've been to D.C. multiple times, and so to see where they were racing and how they were doing it, it was very unique. Obviously, D.C. is a nightmare for traffic already. So I can't imagine what that was like for people that were down there and everything. But challenging to say the least to have an F1, just like Vegas. I mean, it's hard to shut down multiple streets for a long period of time to have a race like that. But speaking of racing, the World of Outlaws are back in North Dakota this weekend.
Yes,
they come to Grand Forks Friday. They come to Fargo on Saturday. The Danny Schatz Memorial is on Saturday in honor of Donnie's father, who passed away from cancer a few years ago. Interestingly enough, Donnie's nieces, Amelia and Layla Eisenschink, we've had them on this show before when I filled in. Amelia charged all the way from 14th to 2nd place. That's the highest ever finish for a female in a Northern Outlaw Sprint Association sprint car race.
Oh,
so,
nice.
And they're not even 20 yet, so they're pretty young, and their careers are ahead of them. And I think they're two of the next racers that'll carry on that tradition out of that family. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. I know it's still football season, and when Thursday UND is going to roll over Long Island. I think they're 27-point favorites, but it is still summer. We're going to hang on to the fact that we still have it here for at least a couple more weeks.
Boy, tough news for UND with Lance Rucker, too, a foot injury.
That's a tough deal. The fortunate, and I don't want to say fortunate, the fortunate part is it sounds like October, there's a chance to return in October to come back. And if there is a blessing in disguise with Rucker is UND's schedule, for the most part, it's loaded back heavy. Like
right.
their last 5 games are where their biggest challenges are coming. They're going to be heavy favorites in all their games against FCS opponents that they play here in September in the early part of October. Obviously, have to go to Nebraska. That'll be a tough game. But he could come back right when the toughest part of the schedule is South Dakota State, South Dakota, Southern Illinois, and some of those teams are on the schedule. That's one thing, Illinois State. That will be an opportunity when he would come back. So hopefully he can be back when the schedule really heats up, because he is a talented guy. He's worked really hard. He's put on a lot of pounds in the offseason. I think was really poised to have a big year for North Dakota. So they got to figure out a way to get through these first 6, 7, 8 games without him.
Well, and the thing with foot injuries, they just seem to linger.
Yep.
And that's the thing. You just have to make sure there's no setbacks during that time. Of course, I mean, with any injury, but just those feet.
Well, and that's when Schmitty said he's going to have surgery tomorrow. So I'm like, it requires surgery. So that's where you get a little concerned about if there's hardware going in there. I don't know with the exact injury. He didn't share that, but anytime you hear there's surgery, that usually means there's something pretty significant going on down there, whether it's a broken bone or something else. So
if it doesn't go well, I'll be curious to see he does a medical red shirt. If he can.
Well, that's essentially is gone though. I mean, those again, it's everybody gets 5 years. There is no really red shirt anymore. Like that's kind of going out the window here. Now I think Lance did play his first year, so I think technically he would have one more to come back and play if he decided to do that. But I know he has really big plans, and I do think he's a guy that everybody's looking at too.
Yep.
Derek Hanson, the Drive Time News, getting underway in just a couple of moments. Brian, it's always a pleasure. Let's do this again next week.
Hey, man, why not?
Very good. Brian, Shawn, Derek Hanson. Eric Johns is producing, but, folks, I'm looking at the clock, and this is it for me today. I'm Tyler Axness, your host here on Afternoons Live. Had a fun show, and we intend to do it all over again tomorrow. Till then, you drive safely. You take care of yourself. I'll check in right here on KFGO